Hi, I'm Random Trashy and welcome to the channel. So I'm just going to start this video off by saying this is not going to be a review video of the 416D by Tokyo Marui. This is going to be why you would go and buy the Tokyo Marui, and in my own experience, why I've spent the extra money to go and get one. I'm going to break this down quite a bit. I'm going to go into a fair bit of detail, so hopefully it covers off all of the points that you want to know if you're interested in going to get one of these yourself. So the model here I've got is the 416D Devgru edition from Tokyo Marui. It is very expensive compared to other weapons, and I will go into that. So what I'm going to start off by saying is my previous weapons, AGs wise, I've had two Ares Amoebas and I've had a GMP. The reason why I liked the Ares and why I went for the Ares in the first place is down to pricing. They're extremely cheap for the quality and the internals that they provide. My Ares Amoeba, the first one, the AMO 14, the Honey Badger, was about 230 quid, something like that. By the time I'd got it over into the UK, I can't remember exactly because I bought it with some other items. It had an electronic trigger, which means the fire response was fantastic, had a built-in internal MOSFET. Had a high torque motor as standard, like all of the Ares come with a really good quality motor. The bodies are polymer, so they're nice and light. They come with a cool handrail on them, you know, it's quite a nice looking weapon. And the boxed up package that they come in, you know, the packaging and the boxing up of it and the protection for the gun was absolutely fantastic. I was really blown away by the quality from Ares, and if you jump back to the channel you can actually watch that video on the channel. After that I got an AMO 14 Ares, the shorter handrail version. I got another one after getting rid of the 13, and I bought myself a GMP TMR 10 inch. The reason why I went for the GMP was because it was a little bit more expensive than the Ares. It comes with a full metal body, so it felt like, you know, I thought the guns would be more robust, a little bit more solid. Obviously you get that little heavyweight, it's more real steel looking, you can put all your accessories and everything on there. But the main thing about the GMP platform is that you can modify it. With the Ares you couldn't make any changes to the internals because the way that the electronic fire switch controls has magnets in the back of the gears, and they, you know, measure rotation and all that sort of thing. So you can't put modified gears in one of those weapons. With the GMP, the thing that really intrigued me was that I couldn't modify a gun before. I didn't realise how big modifying and how much of an impact it would make on weapons. So I fired a few of my friends' guns, and one in particular, my friend Richie, he's got a Scar, and it's been fully modified, and the thing is an absolute animal. Ridiculous fire rate, really responsive. You know, the range on it is phenomenal. It just fires really, really well. It sounds fantastic. And I thought, you know what? I've got a gun now. I've got a platform that I can modify. So I literally bought every modification that you can put in that gun. From SHS, it cost me an absolute fortune. I bought an uprated motor. Everything in that gun is custom. I recently sold it. It absolutely broke my heart to sell it because I literally spent a fortune on it. Other than the gearbox casing, everything else was brand spanking new in there. And I absolutely loved it. It performed fantastic. The issue that was always in the back of my mind, although I had no problems with my GMP, is that every friend, associate, person in the scene that I know that has a highly modified weapon, the reliability is definitely kind of subdued for the fact that it's been modified. Standard guns, from what I know, seem to just go on and on and on and on forever. And, you know, rarely they break or whatever, or they may have an issue. A lot of it, you know, can be user dependent, but, you know, they seem to go on forever in comparison to the modified ones in which there's always problems. So with my GMP, although I did do quite a few Milsims with it and some skirmishes and all that sort of thing, I never really had any problems. In the back of my mind there was always a worry that if I was at a very rural event like Combat Airsoft Group, Otterburn, and we were 5 hours away from the truck and the gun goes down and I need to go back and change my weapon out or anything like that, it always did give me a little bit of a concern. So the reliability factor after it being modified was always kind of niggling in the back of my mind. Also, the GMP trades, I'm not a massive fan of them. The MOTS logo and the you know, the emblems and all the writing all over it, I just wasn't you know, I wasn't really a fan of all of those, and it was a little bit it did put me off a little bit. The alternative is, you know, just paint the gun, right? You know, just camo it. So that was always in the back of my mind. So I did like that about the G&P, the body and stuff. The way the G&P got sent out to me, I wasn't happy about. It's in the video. It's just sent out in a cardboard box from styrofoam mates in it. I really wasn't pleased with that at all, especially for the extra money that I'd spent over the Aries. I was expecting higher quality. So there was a few pluses and negatives on both platforms, right? The Amoeba, great gun internally. The external body, that polymer body, I'm not a massive fan of it looking back at it now. They do look a little bit glossy and slimy in certain lights, and the reflective IR on it is actually quite bad in comparison to a full metal bodied gun. You get a lot less IR glare back off of it. So there was always that with the Aries guns. Like I said with the G&P, I love the fact you can modify them and all that sort of thing, but there was always this niggle that it was going to go down. So that was my experience with other weapons, right? And I always felt like with the G&P, because you could modify it, there was always something better to get. You could always just continually plumb money into it, and it was a kind of everlasting thing. I've come across Tokyo Marui a few times. My friend Tom's got some Tokyo Marui weapons, and I've always been told, and kind of the always inclination for that brand is that they sit at the top of the chain. They have the best quality, the best performance out the box. They have the nicest packaging. You know, everything about them is top tier. And my friend Matt recently got an electric blowback. I think he's got the 4160 as well. He might have the 416, but he recently bought one of these, and he was blown away by it. You know, he said to me on the phone, "I've never fired anything like it. It's amazing. You need to have a go at this." I was like, okay, cool. So it kind of started swaying my mind towards the Tokyo Marui. The other thing that I've been told, and this is by a good friend of mine, S23, you know, we had a long chat on the phone. He's like, dude, out of the box, they're phenomenal. They have range. They fit, you know, in any FPS limit on any site. He said, the bodies are fantastic. He said, you know, you're not going to be disappointed. And I heard that from so many people that begin to think, you know, all of these guys, I've never heard anything bad about TM. I've always heard just loads and loads of positive. And that is always a massive indicator for me that when I hear from a large variety of people all the same thing, it normally means I'm onto an absolute winner. So yeah, spoke to a few friends, heard from a few different people, I was in the market for a new gun. Now the big difference with this is cost. And a lot of people look at TM like I first did and go, £600 for a gun, are you crazy? You know, I could buy a G&P, spend double on it, have a phenomenal gun, and it would outperform the TM, and you know, there's all those kind of thoughts that go through your mind. And I thought, well, people must be buying them, right? Because everywhere I've looked, they're sold out. Now, my first thought was, well, because they're so expensive, maybe they don't sell very well. Each shop gets like 2 in, and then they're sold, you know, and then that's it. When I spoke to a few different gun providers, I'm not going to say who, but I spoke to a few different places, they were like, dude, we order as many as we can in from TM, as many as they'll send us. On the day that they arrive here, we have our pre-orders that go out, our reserves that go out, that are done in store, and that's it. Whatever is left over gets sold. He said, literally, with a couple of days from a TM order, we're done and dusted. He said, you know, magazines, any TM accessories, they come in, they go straight out. And I was like, oh, okay. And I've just noticed the popularity of people moving from high-end AEGs, modified AEGs, over to TMs. You're going to see it a lot within the next maybe 6 months to a year. They are really flooding the market at the minute, which is making them very difficult to get hold of. This was actually very, very difficult to get hold of, but in the review I will go through who I got this from and the phenomenal customer service that they gave me. I will give you massive, massive props in the review. But I really want to keep this about why I've chosen to go over to the TM, why I spend the extra money. So the gun in total cost me £600 with 4 magazines. An absolute bargain compared to some of the other priced TM retailers out in the UK. So the retailer that I got it from was a phenomenal price. But moving away from that, it is the quality of the gun and the quality of the packaging. Now, I'm not going to go into masses of detail. What I'm going to do is just move this box back, stand this up, just so you can have a look at it. Hopefully everything all stays in there. It is just sort of all wedged in. But the quality and the build of this gun is phenomenal. It is stunning. The detailing, the writing, the way that all the lines match, the way that the upper and lower meet, it is of real steel caliber. Absolutely stunning. You know, a really, really nice box set up here. We've got a nice operator's manual. It just comes packaged the way that you'd expect the gun to come packaged at this price. I will go into some more details about that. Hopefully that's given you a good, indication of kind of what my previous experience is, why I've driven to go to this. The reliability of Tokyo Marui, I've heard it from everyone, they're phenomenal. The visuals, the gun is absolutely stunning. The detailing on it is surpassed anything else that I've seen. That was a sell for me. And also, the after customer service that you get from this. So I won't need to modify this. This gun's going to work great out of the box. I'm not going to bother modifying it, which means it has a warranty intact. So if it does go wrong, if there is problems in the future, I send it back to the manufacturer and it gets fixed. And that is the great thing about having an unmodified weapon, is that it will still be covered under the TM warranty. It is an absolutely stunning gun. Hopefully that's given you some information as to why go and get a TM, why you would want to move from your upgraded AEG to something like this, why they're so popular, and the experience that I've had. Cannot wait to get stuck into the review for this for you guys. If you do have any questions, feedback, anything you want to say, please make sure you stick it in the comments below in this video. A like and subscribe to the channel always means a hell of a lot to me. It's always great to see that audience growing and have some new members here watching the videos. I'm always happy for feedback, so if there is anything about the videos, the way that I've presented, anything like that, please make sure that a comment goes in the box below. It's much appreciated. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all soon.